Hey guys, Stacy Meisenheimer here with SWADE Productions. It's Halloween. This is going to be the Halloween special. Today I have a list of questions that we're going to ask each other. And this is Gayle Cron. Gayle Cron, tell them about yourself.
I'm a hair and makeup artist as well as an actress, special effects makeup artist, located in Arkansas, USA. I've been doing this for about 12 years. Been making film for about one. It's groovy. I like it.
And also, the makeup that you're seeing, she did this to me too. So if you like this kind of stuff, give us a thumbs up because I think that'd be kind of cool. And I'll also link her channel. So if you want to check out some of her stuff, I'll be happy to link that too. Okay, so do you have any questions before we start?
Why is the sky blue?
I don't know.
Okay.
But what I do know is the first question. What is your favorite holiday and why?
Oh, my favorite. The favoriteest of holidays. I would have to say that my favorite holiday is Christmas. And it's because we have in my household a long-standing tradition of trying to kill the Santa Claus.
Oh, I like that.
It's been, the children love it, absolutely love it.
So what do you mean kill Santa Claus? What are you doing?
I mean, we're going to try and kill Santa Claus. Mom is setting up tannerite up the chimney. We're putting booby traps in the yard, on the ceiling. We're putting arsenic in the cookies and the milk, things like that. I mean, not really, but you know, kids. It's magic.
Okay. My favorite holiday is Halloween. And the reason why is because it's unfortunately the only day of the year that you can look like this and nobody say anything to you. It's understood.
Now, see, I have a tendency to just look at like this whenever I want, and I don't care.
Well, see, I can't do my makeup like you do. So.
Oh, every day has been Halloween in our house for many, many years.
Yeah.
Many.
Awesome. Well, okay. So, number 2, what was your first trick-or-treat costume?
Oh, I think the first one that I can remember.
Yeah.
My mother made me a homemade Kermit the Frog costume.
Oh, cool.
It was cool. It had this big felt head and like little styrofoam eyeballs, and I had a green jumpsuit and hands and feet. I loved it.
Oh, wow.
What about you?
I don't know. I was raised in a strict Southern Baptist home.
Oh.
They didn't like that kind of stuff, so I was on my own before we did Halloween, so I'm trying to remember what that was when I was 19. I don't remember. I was probably something.
You are a late bloomer.
Yeah, but I always liked it.
Yeah, you're making up for lost time.
That I know, and I got a long way to go, so I got at least 17, 18 years.
Absolutely. Double the effort. You can do it. Every day can be Halloween to make up for time.
That's why I'm always busy writing, horror films and everything, so.
Yes.
Okay, so here's probably one of my favorite questions on this list. What scares you?
Well, these days, the only thing that really scares people is, Republicans and, Democrats. But no, on a serious note, the only thing that really, really scares me is people. People scare me. Now, in addition to being creepy and weird like this, I have studied and do have degrees in criminal justice. I've studied serial homicide, and the thing that I figured out while I was studying is that these people are no different than anybody else.
Oh.
And if you look at the way that people treat one another, especially these days, be kind to one another, please. What really scares me is people. Normal people.
Now that's another question itself. Hold up. We got 3A. So hold on. You're talking about normal everyday people out there.
Yes, they do.
That are absolutely just crazy, and they have it. So I'm scared.
No, they're not.
I'm scared of people too.
They're not crazy, and that's just it. Is the weird thing that most people don't understand is everybody thinks that like a psychopath is this big scary thing. Yes, and it's because of the movies. And the real thing is that they're normal human beings, just like everybody else. You encounter them every day.
Yeah.
And really, it's just that people are really crappy to one another.
Yeah, I believe that.
And people just do bad things. I'm not scared of the monster under the bed. I'm not scared of a demon coming out of hell or a ghost coming out of the closet. I'm scared of my neighbor burning my house down with the meth lab or something.
Well, that kind of just hurts the Halloween thing.
Well, it does.
Okay, number 4. Oh, what scares me? I forgot about that.
Yeah, what scares you?
Aliens.
Well, that's one of those unknown things.
Exactly. So, what was the first movie that scared you? Like, you were scared to go to bed?
Night of the Living Dead. I think I was about 5 years old, and the babysitter's husband had us watch it. And I've never been exposed to any kind of horror or anything before, so he broke it out with Night of the Living Dead. I was scared out of my mind, and I think that's why I'm obsessed with zombies. What about you?
The Bald Mountain thing with the demon on Disney Channel.
Oh,
where that demon did his wings.
Come up and he's like,
and he's taking all these souls and everything, and I'm like, the town's sleeping below, and it's just like, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go to bed because I'm afraid this is going to happen. I'm going to die.
But that was, you were not exposed to a lot of
Southern
things.
Baptist. Yeah, I had to sneak
so
it.
that was terrifying.
Yeah, I was over to Buddy's house because, like I said, it was strict Southern Baptist.
Yes. Now see, and that's where, the idea of fear, it's really, it depends on who you are and where you've been and what you've been exposed to, because I might not be afraid of something that you are afraid
That's
of.
That's right.
And I might laugh at it, but it's terrifying to you. And
it's all relative.
It's all relative to everyone.
Yeah. All right, so that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so I think I already know the answer to this one for you. So, what is your favorite style of horror? For example, do you like the slashers? Do you like the psychological? Or do you like the thrillers, etc.?
Actually, this is probably going to shock your socks off. It's campy B horror.
So like the slashers, like, the Jasons and Michaels?
No, like the Trauma Team Productions. Actually, my favorite horror movie is Blood Diner, which is a truly campy movie from
I haven't seen that.
The early 90s. Oh, you must. It's just, you have to. It's just a really cheesy, campy horror is what I like. Like, I don't get into the slashes or the thriller, and I do like the thrillers. I do.
Yeah.
That's like a close number 2. I like psychological thrillers.
Like Seven.
Yes. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think for me that's what my wife likes the most. Like, I've got Seven on every copy, like Jaws. Every time they release a new version, Blu-ray or DVD or whatever, or a collector's edition, I'm buying it for both Seven and Jaws.
Oh.
Because Seven's an awesome movie.
It is. It's wonderful.
Thinking about it, how did that driver? I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
And if I'm spoiling it for you guys, I'm so sorry. So that driver brings a
box.
box.
Yeah, turn it off if you haven't seen it.
The driver brings a box, and I'm trying to figure out how that driver, what address did he know? So
the what's in the box?
I know. So it's like I was talking to my wife about this. I was like, how did he know? I know it's a movie, but that's the problem. Maybe people think too much about realism in movies, but just thinking thinking about it, the killer's like, okay, so there's this field, and you're going to turn left by the power. You know what I mean?
It may have had an address,
but they were in a field.
Knows?
They were in a field.
Maybe there was specific directions, like you said.
In Arkansas directions, you'd say, okay, you're going to take this dirt road, and then you'll see a Pepsi can, and at that Pepsi can, you're going to hang a left.
Now, if y'all get down to Old Ma's cow farm, you done gone too far. You got to turn around, but don't go all the way down to Jimmy Bob's trailer.
Billy Bob's trailer. Yeah. For me, I'm going to obviously psychological thriller. Number 6. Which of the following is scary to you? And I think I've already answered this too. But aliens, demons, ghosts, or whatever else.
I think out of the choices, it probably would be aliens, just because that's a big unknown.
Yes.
Like, that's not even people. Like, it could be anything.
Even Bigfoot.
Yeah, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
so why are you scared of aliens?
Just because it's unknown.
Okay.
I mean, are we going for Star Trek? Is it going to be a Star Trek type situation,
I don't know,
or are we going like Alien?
Whatever's in your head.
And that's
Alien.
just it. That's a scary place to be. You don't want to be there. That's terrifying.
That's a good question too. What style? But I don't know if you think about it. Aliens, demons, or ghosts. The aliens, I think they like poke and prod you. I don't know. Demons get inside you and possess you, and ghosts, I don't even know what they do. So for me, it's aliens.
Well,
too.
and that's just it. Like a ghost. I mean, unless it's some kind of something that can manipulate the physical environment. What are you gonna do to me? Go, move stuff around on me, hide my coffee cup?
What kind of ghost is that? What do they call that kind of?
usually poltergeist is what they try and say. And,
That's what I meant to say. But aliens for me is really scary. You know, just thinking about, you know, because you see these videos. There was even a movie made about it too, The Sixth Sign or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, that was based on a true story.
Exactly, in Alaska or wherever. And
well, the government did admit they finally admitted that aliens exist.
Yeah.
Finally, we knew that.
It's the scare of what do they do to you? Why are they here? And why do they want to?
What do they want?
Well,
what do they want with our cattle? Why are you probing the anuses? What do you want? What is it?
I know.
Don't answer that to me. You ask him. I don't.
Inquiry
want you to
minds want to know. Okay, so if you know, drop a comment below. You know.
Yes, I want to hear these theories, please. I want to know why you think aliens are abducting us and doing the cattle mutilations.
Yeah. So we're both the same on that one. Aliens. Okay. Number 7. What is the strangest thing you've personally witnessed?
Now, see, and this is funny because I really thought about this one. Now, I grew up in a house that was haunted.
Oh.
And I have
So tell us about that.
Yeah, and it relates into questions I think that we're getting into later, so I'm not sure how to tell it without spoiling the later questions, but I grew up in a house that was haunted, and it was weird because it was just normal. And it wasn't like anything overtly like crazy.
Yeah.
There was just every once in a while you'd see this old man in a yellow shirt digging in the cupboards in the kitchen.
No.
Yes. And when I was a kid, like I'd sleep on the couch in the living room, and every once in a while I'd hear these footsteps that would go up to a spot and then stop.
So
right next to the refrigerator. Now I'll tell you what's up with that. Absolutely. We know that someone had committed suicide in the house. It was in the abstract. And that's what we figured. Now, I hadn't ever really told anybody about the footsteps because nobody cared. We knew he was there. We'd all seen him. It was old hat, you know? But when I was a teenager, a big chunk of plastic, it was an old house. It was built in the 1800s.
Oh, wow.
A big chunk of plastic fell off the ceiling right above where those footsteps always stopped. We found buckshot, hair, and gore. That was the spot that he'd shot himself.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. And in them days, you know, crime scene cleaners, you have to clean your own crime scene. And especially back then, they just plastered over it. And we were like, oh. And I went, oh, that's what
nice.
That was. That's great. That's
how about that?
Yeah.
So you spent time and grew up in a haunted house, and you're like, that's normal?
Yeah, it's like whatever. This George.
That cup going across the room, just pay it no mind. That's George, man.
Well, see, we didn't have any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you know.
It's just like whatever. We called him George. We didn't know what his name was, but that's just what we referred to him as George.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, you got company over. You know, you're watching TV, and then all of a sudden they hear something like, "Oh, don't pay no mind." That's just a ghost upstairs.
George. It's okay.
They're like,
he ain't gonna bother you. He just wants something out of the cupboard.
What?
He's hungry. He wants a snack.
You're okay with a ghost, okay?
Well, I mean, truly. I mean, I don't know. And I guess that comes down to what you're scared of.
I guess you get used to it.
I mean, if it's not messing with you, and it's one of those, and I think there's many different kinds of ghosts, and he must have just been on some kind of loop. You know, they say there's that kind that gets on the loop, and he was on a loop.
What movie was that?
Because he didn't interact.
I forget what movie it is, but they're on a loop.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing the same
thing over and over and over. He's not interacting with you. He's not changing anything. He's just.
So did you ever like try to like cross the path with him? Was it cold or something when you went in the path? Or I mean.
No, there was. And that was the other part of living in that house is there were cold spots in the house here and there, but it was also a really old farmhouse. So was that spectral activity, or was that just Wisconsin in the winter in a poorly insulated house? It's hard to say.
Yeah, but
no, generally you'd see him, you know, you'd be looking through something and you'd see him there, and when you look back, he wasn't there.
Oh, so you didn't have a chance to like go up to him?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, like and all of us experienced it at one time or another, and like the footsteps. I was too scared. I will say I was too scared to look. I never looked, because I remember the first time I heard it, I thought it was my dad.
Oh.
And I called out for him. I said, Dad, I thought he had gotten out of bed maybe, and I didn't hear him. And I thought he was standing on the other side of the doorway. And I looked, and there was nobody there. And I never looked again. I didn't want to know.
I don't even know if I would like be safe, you know, feel comfortable using a bathroom or showering knowing there's a ghost running around the house.
Well, I can say that, like, going down to the basement to do laundry, it was creepy.
Oh yeah, how about that?
Because it was a dead basement.
How about that? Ooh.
Yeah, and no, like, it was one of those deals where I'd turn off the light and I'd run as fast as I could and slam the door.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like, no.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see. I don't even know what to say about what I'm going to say to number 7. What is the strangest thing I've ever personally witnessed? I don't know.
What? You don't know?
Well, I do, but I don't want to share it.
You don't want to share? Like, is it creepy?
It's really creepy.
Is it creepy? Well, come on.
Oh.
We're among friends. Like, who are they going to tell? You're going to keep a secret, right? Right. It's okay.
I don't know, but okay, I'll be real vague. So one night, we were in a big house, and I was sleeping. It was my house. It was my home with my parents and brothers, and I don't know to this day if it's real or not, but it goes along with that alien thing. To where I remember waking up, and it's the freakiest stuff. I remember waking up on my side, and I happened to roll on my back and look forward, and there's something like patting my leg, and it's saying, it's not saying anything, but I can hear it in my head saying, "It's okay, it's okay." But then I look a little further, and I'm like scared, to death. And I got the sheets, slowly pulling over my head. And it's one of those deals that you're so scared you can't even breathe. It seems like you can't do anything. And there's one in my closet, and there's one in the hallway. And then, I remember pulling the sheets over my head like that. And then whenever it seemed like a split second, but whenever I lowered the sheets, everything was gone.
Have you ever heard of the shadow people? Because I've seen the shadow people, and when I was a child, I saw the Hat Man in my dreams a lot. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this, and if you haven't, you need to look into it.
Well,
the shadow people and the Hat Man, and it's a common experience to a lot of people that they've experienced it. I had no idea.
Well, I mean, it had the figure of the oval head and long, slender body.
Oh, you saw aliens.
That's what I'm saying. It's it's like I don't remember. It's just I remember my dad. The next morning. My mom, I don't know where she was, and my brothers, I don't know where they were. But anyway, I remember the next morning, I said something to my dad. I was like, was everything okay last night? Was anything weird or anything? He said, I had hairs on the back of my neck. I woke up because a dog was barking. Oh. But I didn't hear any of that. I don't know. I'm not lying.
You were visited.
So I was probably one of those people that, the anal thing,
Oh. Well, no.
Now I want to know what they did.
They just came and said, hey, it's okay.
It's okay.
Go back to sleep.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so now, moving on. Okay, number 8. Okay, have you ever heard a scary story that's not true from someone that you felt... Wait, let me read. Have you ever heard a scary story, like not true, from someone that you felt could be true? So, in other words, I can't type. But have you ever heard a scary story that you thought could be true?
Like a creepypasta.
Yeah.
I mean, when you were kids, and I can't even think of any specifically, but they were all the time. Like, oh, you know what? Witch's Road. That one came from the same babysitter's husband that showed us 9/11 Dead.
Witch's Road. Is that a movie or a story?
It's a story, but it's a local legend.
Oh.
From where I came from, is that there's this old house that, a witch had lived in. So we'd all sneak out there and things, And he told us stories about the witch's house. And I mean, we all thought it was true. And I'm quite sure that it was just an old lady that people like to mess with, but it scared the bejeebus out of us.
Yeah. I can't believe that. So again, you're like, she grew up with a house of ghosts that she's used to, and so you're not scared of anything. So there's this witch house down the road.
Oh, they took us out there.
We're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, no, they took us out there as children several times, scared the living hell out of us.
Have you heard of Hansel and Gretel? You heard
yes,
of that? Okay.
Yes. We think, and maybe they were trying to leave us out there. I don't know. Maybe they had insurance on us.
I was talking about when you were younger. Did you hear of Hansel and Gretel? Because you know what happened in that. So.
Well, exactly. She ended up eating the kids.
That's what I'm saying. That could have been you.
It could have been, but it
wasn't.
Careful.
You gotta be careful.
We were too scared. We didn't get out of the car.
As far as I go, heard a scary story. Bigfoot. I think everybody in Arkansas area talks about Bigfoot. I think it could be true, but who knows?
Well, yeah, and there's all that. Bigfoot, Yeti.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, we got the hodag, which is similar. It's weird. You got the chupacabra.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
The chupacabra.
Yeah. Okay, so the last question that I have is, Let me see. Okay, so say you're walking through the woods at night. Just ahead is an opening where a demon awaits. Would you rather see the demon and know that he's there, or skirt by and know he saw you but you never saw him or her? Whoever.
To be honest, I'm probably that stupid sod who's going to go up there and try and poke it with a stick.
Oh,
I
believe that.
I'm just one of those where I just go up and be like, "What's up? I heard you were a demon. What's going on? Can you do anything? No? Are you gonna kill me? No, I'm out. Bye."
Yeah, I believe that.
I'd poke it with a stick.
You'd
That's
poke the
just
bear.
me. Yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, this is going down anyway. Let's go. Just get it over with."
Yeah, I'm the guy that's gonna walk by and hope that it doesn't cause any problems.
You're just gonna be like, "Shh."
I'm the chicken. I'm definitely the chicken.
But that just means that your sense of self-preservation is intact.
Yeah, it's pretty much intact.
And that's going to be most people's response. Honestly, I don't think anybody wants to mess with it. They're like, "I'm just going to leave you to your thing, and I'm going to go this way."
I don't know. I've never, as long as I can remember, I've always been that way. I'm not a much of a, hey, let's go do this in the woods, because in South Arkansas or in Crossett, and I think there's one in Gurdon. There's a light on a train track.
Really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious about this. You can
Really?
look. There's an Amy light. There's a Gurdon light. Wait, Amy light. Anyway, Crossett light too. And so you go. We've seen it one time, but this is before I had GoPros and all that stuff. Before the cell phones were even a thing too. You had like a bag phones. That's how old I am.
Oh, I remember those things.
Yeah.
The big old bag phone.
Yeah. And they had to like be plugged into the battery or something. Anyway, so there's this light, and it's on railroad tracks, and it'll go through your vehicle, and then it'll appear down the road or behind you. It's really weird.
Can we go? I want to see this.
I don't know where they are. I just know it is in Crossett. I don't know about the Gurdon. There's Kylan, the guy who always plays Michael. He knows about the one that's in Gurdon, and I'm not gonna say when he's going, but he's planning on going soon.
Oh, take me with you, because this is something that I want to go poke. Like, I am one of those. I want to go poke things.
I don't know how. I don't understand that. It's like a light. It's like a gassy kind of light, but I'm not gonna say gas. I'm not gonna say that.
Swamp gas.
I'm not gonna say that, but it's definitely a little bright orb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now see, it could be something with Arkansas, because I was talking to my neighbor, and I mean, super cool, salt of the earth guy, like not into Halloween, supernatural, anything. Yeah. He saw ball lightning. Like, he wasn't sure if it was a ghost or ball lightning or what, but it like it was this big old thing. It comes through the wall, went through. Like he said, it just kind of rolled through. They just sat and watched it.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, it sounds like ball lightning.
See, I've seen heat lightning. It gets so hot in Arkansas that there's heat lightning. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this orb really is. But it's pretty neat. I know that.
But is it like repeated? I mean, is it repeats?
It's not on a schedule.
You have to wait to see.
Well, I don't know. I've only been one time, but people say that it's like, they try to chase it and all that stuff, and it'll disappear on them. The legend. Okay, so here this is a good thing for Halloween. So the legend of this whole thing is, this guy was working on a railroad or something, and he was he left something behind. So at night, I'm probably butchering this. At night, he had a lantern. And he was going on the railroad looking for something, and a train like ran his head over something. Oh. And so the light is supposed to be his lantern.
His lantern.
Yeah.
He's running around looking for his head.
I would. That's right. Yeah. That's exactly right. I would definitely Google that, because I just probably completely butchered it. So. And as far as that goes, there's other, even Petty Jean, we was talking earlier. Even Petty Jean's got a story too.
Yeah, Petty Jean's. And it's funny. Every part of the country you go to, they've got all these local legends and weird things that have happened. Like where I came from, we had oodles beyond the Witch's Road. It was.
Yeah.
And as when we were teenagers, we ran all over the place trying to find this stuff.
Texarkana. That movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. That was based on a thing in Texarkana.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, Texarkana. And I'm a huge Jaws fan. Do you know the story behind Jaws?
No.
Okay, so
no.
So it's based on something that happened in the early 1900s about this shark that went on a killing spree in the Northeast. Oh. And so it's based on that Peter Benchley's book, which is Jaws based on that. So anyway, we was talking about that the other day, me and Justin. So.
But you know what? Come to think of it, and that is if we could back up, now that you have sparked something, I am afraid of the ocean.
Oh, I'm too.
Because of it's the unknown.
Yeah, you don't know what's down there.
There could be a jellyfish. There could be a shark. I can't see.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in there.
Oh, I don't. So I got a funny story.
I won't go in the ocean past my knees. I think last year was the first time I actually went out and swam.
So one time, this was a few years ago, we were at Panama City Beach. This has been a while. So me and my wife and my father-in-law, and I think that's it, we all decided to go snorkeling. Okay? Which, I thought that'd be a good idea. The instructor told me, he goes, we're going to be out here for about, 3 or 4 hours. Make sure you bring drinks and food, snacks, blah, blah. So we did. So we get out there and, I'm like, this is kind of like, sorry people, but I think these people are all beginners. I can swim out here and do this myself. So I decided to do that.
So you went out on your own?
Yeah, mistakes for me. So he says, he goes, stay away from the reef because it's real sharp. And I'm like, but that's all where all the pretty fish and stuff are. So I'm like swimming out there,
I do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. And so I end up cutting my finger. And then that little ribbon of blood goes.
And you went, I've seen Jaws. Oh,
and
God.
And the reef was about to end, so it was kind of like, it was a corner. So I don't know what's on the other side of that corner. And I got a ribbon of blood in the water, and all I can think of is, the Discovery Channel saying, these things can smell for a mile or something stupid. And so I immediately, like the Jaws, like that. And I end up, almost pulling a full Jesus walking on water back to the boat. And the crazy thing is, back to what I was saying, is I stayed on the boat for the remaining 3 hours, and I would not get back in the water. And there wasn't like a thing to cover me or anything. I was just out in the sun.
You were in there baking like a lobster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what the guy said, and they were laughing at me. They're like, there's no sharks around here. I was like, yeah, that's what they all say.
That's what they all say until the blood is in the water.
That's right. That's what I told him. I was like, there was a ribbon of blood. These things can smell for a mile. No.
I've seen Shark Week.
Yeah, even the mockumentary, I saw that too. So if y'all have any stories you want to share, comment below because I'd like to read them, and I'm sure you would too.
Yes, bring them. I want to see them. Yeah, I have oodles. Really, it's we could go all night.
Well, I mean, it's Halloween,
That's true. I just returned from filming 2 feature-length films in the same location within 30 days. It was a historic theater. Okay.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. I didn't know it was a theater though.
It's it's the Rhodey Theater, in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Super old building, beautiful. Now I walked in, I was very comfortable. Like none of it made me uncomfortable at all. Like I was in the basement by myself. I'm all over that place by myself.
We got to keep in mind. We got to keep in mind that she's used to going to places that are dangerous, like the ghost in the house, the witch down the road. So if she said she was comfortable, we would probably be scared. I'm just going to say sorry.
And that's just, a couple of the actresses were like, oh, I don't want to be alone. And it's like, no, it's fine. I'm not getting any creepy vibes,
That's the main thing.
Until we went way upstairs to the wardrobe room, and then I was like, oh, I could feel the creep. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I didn't like it. It made my spidey sense go off.
Oh.
And nobody said anything, and I was like, well, I'm not going to stir the boat because we don't want the actresses to get scared and not come up here. But then we went towards the end, and I'm cleaning up the building. Okay, we had a small crew. I wasn't just doing makeup. Everybody was all hands on deck. And I wanted to go clean upstairs, and I remembered, I'm like, I don't want to be up there by myself. So I asked Joey, who was another guy on the set, great guy. I said, hey, I got to go up there and clean, but I don't like it. It creeps me out. Could you come with? He said, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom, and then I'll join you. I said, okay, cool. So I went up there by myself to start, because I knew he'd be right behind. No, I got to that room, and it splits off, okay? It's a huge theater with a huge wardrobe department. So there's a rack of clothing, a huge rack in the middle. So I split and went to the left side.
Okay.
And as I went down that left side, I heard footsteps behind me, and it sounded like somebody trying to be quiet. And I'm like, Joe is trying to scare me. And I heard it come in and go to the other side. And I went, I saw you, because I turned around and I saw something go by and the clothes moved. And I said, I saw you, ha ha, and I went around and looked, there's nobody there, and I went, I'm out.
You know, now that I think about it.
And then when I got downstairs, he was coming from the other side of the building where the bathroom was. There was nobody on that side of the building.
Nobody that you knew.
No, the entire film crew was filming.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We don't know who that was. You know, a ghost or whatever is
there
what
was,
I'm saying.
Yeah, there was nobody there. Nobody and nothing by the time I got to the other side, and I was like, well, I'm out. I dropped my big garbage and went straight downstairs.
Now that I think about it, there's another place. I don't have any personal dealings with anything happening at that place, but there's a place right outside of Strong, Arkansas. I don't know it for a fact to be true or not, but I've always been told that there's this liquor store if you're heading to...
liquor store, do tell.
Yeah, I know, that's my favorite place, I feel like. So if you're heading to cross it from Strong, Arkansas, there's this liquor store on the left. And it's like you drive your vehicle through it, and it's a weird drive. It's kind of neat, but I've always been told that place is haunted. Like it's on like some, I don't know.
You're gonna have to write this down because I know a place where I'm gonna go get some beer later.
It's at least 2 or 3 hours away from here.
That's
probably.
Okay because it's an hour and a half for me to go get beer anyway. So I'll drive.
Really?
It.
Are you in a dry county?
I am.
Oh my goodness! You talking?
That's what really scares me. Living in a dry county.
That's what really scares. Yeah, I gotta drive an hour and a half to get this beer, man, or whatever it may be.
Sobriety is scary.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it was built on a. I've been told. I don't know how true all this is, so take this with a grain of salt. But it's like Indian burial ground kind of stuff. And so
now, see, that could be anywhere down here because Indians were everywhere.
It could be.
Everywhere.
You're right.
You know, it could be an ancestral home or an old burial ground, a sacred ground. I mean, Arkansas was just covered with Native Americans.
That's right.
It's just crazy.
That's right. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Nothing that I can really think of. We've had an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I will thank you folks for watching, and I hope to speak to you soon. And thank you very much for having me on. I've really enjoyed this. I have.
I have too. What are you gonna be for Halloween? Is this what you're gonna be for Halloween?
This is the downside of being a makeup artist and things is. For years now, I really haven't gotten to do much for Halloween. And when I do, this is what I do. I have my character, I'm the ringleader, and it's easy for me, so I just slap it on and we go. And people are like, oh my God, and I'm like, yes, I'm the ringleader again.
Man, that is like, that's like, you would be busy if you had a little booth or something, like the lemonade stand stuff, but a makeup booth,
Well, see, I am licensed to cosmetology in Arkansas as well as a licensed cosmetology instructor. So I work in a salon, and yes, I am fully booked on Halloween. So
nice.
I
thought I saw that the other day.
Yeah, and that happened immediately. If you don't book with me typically months in advance and sometimes even the year previous, you're not getting in because everybody knows what you do and they're like, well, I want the coolest costume. I'm going to win that costume prize. So, Gayle, you need to do me.
I don't know. In fact, I want to enter. I don't know. There's a radio station in Little Rock called The Edge, and I like to listen to them. But they're having a Halloween costume contest.
Are they? Yeah.
I just don't know the hashtag. You got to put your photo up, and then you got a hashtag, and then you can win money or something. I don't know. And I'm definitely thinking you should enter that. And I probably will too, looking just like this tonight. I'm just going to take the pictures and then figure out the hashtag.
Yeah.
When I figure it out, I'll let you know.
I did that. If I'd known that, I would have brought more of my kit and we could have really pimped it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a late thinker, so, I'm sorry.
Well, and that's and the same. Everybody thinks that I'm going to do this huge over-the-top thing for Halloween, and the reality of it is that I don't have the time to pre-plan. And then if you sit and do something, well, then you're hurried and it's not well planned, and you're like, oh, well, we'll just do our best.
So, I got a question, and I think I know the answer. Vampires or werewolves?
I'm more into the vampires.
Oh, yes.
Technically, of all of them, if we're going character or full,
whatever,
portrayal,
the whole shebang.
Demons. I love demons.
See, that's my favorite vampire movie was Interview with the Vampire. But the problem with that is, it's both characters played their roles so good. And I'm more of a, the Lestat guy because he's having fun being what he is. Do I think living forever and doing the same thing all the time would get old? Probably would.
It'd be like Groundhog's Day. Eventually it would. I wouldn't. I'd get sick of it.
I just wonder, because I'm a huge Castlevania fan too. I'm a huge I love that game. All of them, even the last two that came out. So I'm wondering, so with Anne Rice, I know they're fast, but do they teleport? Can they teleport these vampires? I don't know.
Is it teleportation? I thought they were just really fast. Like all of a sudden they were like, vroom.
Well, see, that'd be kind of redundant if you want to teleport, but I guess it would be more like, I could run real fast forever, but, I could teleport a mile down the road in a second, whereas you could run there in like 4.
Yeah.
So you got to be resourceful.
I guess resourceful is the word. And it always makes me wonder because when we get into the horror genres, there's different types of everything. There's different types of vampires.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder, like, when did all of this come about? Who thought all this up? Does it come out of different regions of the world? Is this a cultural thing? Or is it just modern people, is this something that cinema did where people started imagining this and it's become ingrained?
Well, you know about the story of the vampire, the guy that
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, you know the story about him dipping the bread in the blood of his enemies. He'd impale them and then go by. That's just. I guess if you like the taste of blood, go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, I always took that down to it was a freak out factor because in the old days they didn't know. They didn't know, and they believed in these things like heavily. So if I really didn't want anybody to mess with me or my kingdom, I'd cut off people's heads and put them on pikes. And I would be like, I'm eating blood.
Well,
See that? I'm eating my enemy. This is what happens when you mess with me. I'm going to eat you.
That's that, oh yeah, I got another idea for a comment, guys. Comment below, vampires or werewolves. I want to see what y'all think about that too. But, what about, there was this queen, Elizabeth...
Bathory.
Yes.
Yes.
She bathed in the blood of... Was it the older
Virgins.
or young? Yeah, the younger people.
She believes that it would make her beautiful and keep her young.
How crazy is that to bathe in somebody else's blood?
I would just say that she had way too much time on her hands and way too much money and power. Like, really?
Golly.
What is that the adrenochrome, or what is that they're talking about that they think that people are getting from, what is it? They think they're killing people and children and taking it from their bodies and it keeps them young. There's some kind of conspiracy theory going on, and it's about the same, where people they want to live forever.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Think about this. So to go back to Vlad the Impaler, so I'm a huge fan of 300. I like the way that was done. That movie, I love the colors.
Yes.
So imagine if King Leonidas, after he kicked the guy in the pit, he dipped, his bread and ate that and said, whatever he said, this is Sparta.
Yes.
This is Sparta.
This is Sparta.
So that ghost face, that's a surprise for me. A surprise for a lot of people. That's one of my favorite recent horror movies.
Yeah, but it was well done, to be honest.
The first one.
I know that they've made a million of them too. When they make too many or something, it's bad. But the first one was very well done. It's just like Saw. Saw was one of my favorite movies.
I've seen the first one, and that's it.
Yeah, well, once you get to 522, you're like, I've seen it. I'm over it.
Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah.
So let's see. This is 2020. I think it was 2019. Was the first time I saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh.
So that movie was done, I think, in '74. So you got.
Yeah, I think so.
So. The thing with that is and I don't want to spoil this at all, but if you haven't seen it, don't be like me, just watch it. But how crazy that movie was at the dinner table. There was nothing like that out at the time.
No, they really crossed boundaries, and that was edgy then.
Well, and Jaws was in the 70s. It seems like all the best movies were in the 70s and 80s.
I think that's because prior to that, they really hadn't done a whole lot because people were very wholesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be tolerated prior to that. You had your black and white, a couple, horror movies, but they weren't real out there.
Yeah.
And, there were some. There were some.
Yeah.
But they were kind of swept under the rug and things.
Yeah.
And then they started opening up at that time, and that kind of laid the path, and now we have Serbian horror films.
See, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of like the I don't want to say this right.
Raw.
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of that necessarily when it feels forced. But what I'm getting at is like all the possession stuff. You know, The Exorcist that came out in the '70s too.
Yeah,
I like that. But what I'm saying is like the new ones. You know, like. And it's all new to me, but The Ring and stuff like that, Annabelle, the dolls. I've never been a Chucky fan, and so I hadn't even seen Annabelle, but I like the director.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Annabelle.
I hadn't either one of them.
Believe it or not, I haven't seen any real modern horror films. I stopped watching them.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't have a lot of time. If
Yeah.
I'm hearing things, I'll go out and find something and watch it. But other than that, I don't watch a whole lot.
I don't watch a lot of TV at all. You'd be surprised at what I haven't seen.
Or I watch the same movies over and
I
over
don't have a
and
problem.
over again.
You know, I could go with that DVD, the Blu-ray rack over there or whatever, and you know, put in whatever it may be and watch the thing I've already seen. I make time for that, but something new, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm not. I'm not. I feel like I'm getting old. It's like,
You know,
Abraham Lincoln.
What did you think about Blair
Empire
Witch? What did you think about the Blair Witch? The original.
I like Blair Witch 2. The first one, Blair Witch, I think was groundbreaking for found footage.
Yes.
That was like, I would say, the modern granddaddy of all found footage movies. And it was actually very well done. There's not one of us who can't say we don't remember her sitting there and crying
And the snot.
The snot's coming out of her nose. We all remember that. It's burned into the back of our eyeballs.
That's right.
It was pretty good, but, you know, of that series, I like the second one better.
I hadn't seen all of the second one. That's where they camped and went to rediscover it. Yeah. I hadn't seen that. I kind of like that. I tell you what. So we were in El Dorado, Arkansas, and they wouldn't play the movie there because they thought it was bad or whatever.
It was evil.
So we had to go to Monroe, Louisiana to watch it. And I remember going out of that theater, and me and Brandy's looking at each other. She goes, "What do you think about the movie?" It's like, it sucked. I thought it was going to be amazing, you know, scare you to death. The MTV's talking about, this is the scariest movie ever. I'm like, you know, I'm sitting there waiting, and then it gets to the end of the movie, and dude's in a corner peeing or whatever he's doing, and then the movie stops. And I'm like, what?
It's like, what
the movie's
was
over.
That?
What happened?
What was that?
What was he doing? You know, it's like, no.
And it really just started. I think nobody was that impressed with it, but it had certain qualities to it.
I like the story. I mean, because
Yes.
I was like, you know, at work, you know, supposed to be working. I'm typing up Blair Witch. You know, what's going on with this? What's going on with this? And there's this lore in this story. I'm like, man, it's gonna be amazing. And everybody's talking about it. You know how awesome a movie it was. And I'm like, you know, I walk out of the theater, want my money back. I'm like, what is this? I drove an hour and a half to watch this movie, and
it was
sucked.
a turd.
Yeah, a turd. The best things about it was on the trailer. The girl with the snot in her nose.
There you go.
I wasn't scared at all, and it was like, you know, whatever. So. Hey.
Like right now, you're all out there. If you've made it this far, thank you. We are friends for life. Call me. We're gonna have a beer.
Well, Gayle, I'm gonna stop here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you making the trip, guys. We'll see y'all next time. And thanks for watching. I hope you have a good Halloween, and I hope it was safe. Whatever you did for Halloween tonight, let me know below because I like to read that. Got anything to say?
Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening to my rambles. I appreciate you all.
Have a good night.
Night.